cut to the chase. Everyone give me some space. Don't fall out, we fall into place. Every step walking with grace, amen. Keeping my foot off the brakes. Impact, I'm ready to brace. We fall down and land on our face, just to get up and finally escape. Wait, boom, boom. Baby, I'm trying to get paid. Legends don't die in a grave. They live through the story they made, okay? Boom, boom. Baby, I'm trying to get paid. Legends don't die in a grave. Hey, legends don't die.
Welcome back to the People's Lounge. Ladies and gentlemen, joining me today is a future well-known, award-winning doctor, Sydni Williams. I can't believe it. I'm gonna let you go ahead and do what you do best and introduce yourself.
Hey, so my name is Sydni. In a month, I'll be a full doctor, graduating from Emory University School of Medicine with an MD and a Master of Science in Clinical Research. And my chosen specialty is emergency medicine. So I matched at my #1 program at the University of Chicago, where I'll be training to be an ED doc. And outside of that, I'm a creative, which is weird because a lot of people in medicine are very analytical, which I am, but I love all things creativity. So photography, videography, social media, marketing, all sorts of things. Have an entrepreneurial spirit and love content creation and helping people to bring their stories to life.
Couldn't have said it better myself, literally. So you hinted towards you're also like in the social media space. I know that's like one of your side hustle / passions. You want to elaborate a little more on that? Because it's not just like her being an influencer.
I'm actually not an influencer, wait.
I would say it's arguable. I'm gonna put it like that.
It's funny because whenever I tell people that I'm like into social media and they go to my page and they're like, I think they're like confused. They're like, oh, like, can I follow you? And I'm like, you could follow me if you want, but like, that's kind of not what I do. So right. When they like, I don't really manage my own page well, which is kind of interesting. But so people are always like, okay, like, So, but really what I do love to do is bring stories to life. I'm a storyteller and I love to allow people to do that with their brands, with their personal brands, with, their relationships, whatever that is. And so I help them to figure out like, how do you want to tell your story on camera, off camera, and create like your personal brand. And I believe it should have like a story, a beginning, middle, and end, and there should be kind of a cohesive package that we can put together and give people to make it easy for them to digest and relate to. So I love doing that. I love the editing piece of it. I can do everything from being behind the camera to editing, but what I love most is just kind of like being a visionary, to be honest.
Y'all had a taste of one of the people that she managed, Skilly's.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he was on a podcast.
She's managing another person, a holistic coach. Y'all gonna hear more about her as time go on, and then she got another person on her belt. Like I said, she's out here grinding and trying to be a doctor. Not trying, is a doctor on top of that. What is it like managing that work-life balance? Because I'm pretty sure like the passion of like, let me make sure somebody else can bring their dreams to life on camera, off camera, that brand and everything. How you manage that with your time and everything?
It's very hard because when you're creating for other people, it's a lot of times dependent on like they need to sometimes have like voiceovers or be in front of the camera or record things in a certain way. And especially when I'm not with someone physically, sometimes it can be hard to like streamline that. Like I may have a time where I'm like, I'm ready to sit down and work and get things done, and they may not have, their deliverables and things in. So that sometimes makes it hard for my workflow. But in general, it's hard for me because my brain is really segmented. Like the job that I do on a day-to-day basis is like, it's very fast paced. I'm thinking a lot. I'm looking at data, like everything is so many data points that I'm taking in, and that can be like very overwhelming. But and I love to create, but if you're a creative, you know that you got to be sometimes in a space to create, and like if you're just not feeling it, it can come out like crap. And when somebody's paying you to a job, you don't want it to come out like crap. And so I do sometimes have some challenge balancing that, like, okay, like I'm exhausted from my job, the mental load is hard, and how do I still like have the mental space to like be creative and like just be open and free and flow. And also I don't have the time sometimes to just flow. Sometimes I got 2 hours and I got to get it done. So that's a challenge.
It's like y'all schedule can't release. It's random. It's not so much set in stone.
Oh, it's trash. It's absolutely trash. Like sometimes there has been times, especially in medical school, like the crazy thing is I paid them $100,000 a year. Yes, it's that expensive to not tell me where I need to be next week. Like it's kind of insane. Like there will be times where I needed to start a rotation. The Friday before, I don't know where I'm going. I don't know who I'm reporting to. I don't know anything. And so that is actually one of the worst parts about it, I think, is like not being in control of my life and being in control of my schedule. But I hope it'll be better, like, now that I'm graduating, you know, it's a little hope, I guess.
Do you plan on being a doctor, like your end goal, your dream job? You're like, I'm going to do this to the day I like.
No, baby. I'm not about to listen, I'm not letting nobody run me to the ground. And the job is great. It's fulfilling. I love helping patients and pouring into people, but they be trying me in the emergency department. Like, people cussing me out. They want to fight me. They want their drugs. Like, it's a lot going on.
If we could play devil's advocate, they are at like probably the worst health.
Facts.
In like stage of their life.
Yes,
they could be.
Let me not let that go unsaid. You're right. So people do come to the emergency department. It's their worst day, and also it's a big moment for them, right? It takes a lot. Think about like how much pain you have to be in to drive yourself to the emergency room. And so when people get there, there is some sort of like expectation about what they're going to get, right? I want you to solve my pain. I want you to make me feel better. I want a diagnosis. I want an appointment, whatever that expectation is. And sometimes like I can't meet that, or the system can't meet that, and people get very frustrated. And that makes it, sometimes it's like we just don't have the resources, or people don't have the money and the system won't pay for it and things like that. And that can be taxing over time. So I say all that to say that I can imagine it's a job that when I'm 60 years old, I may not, want to be doing that every day. I do see myself working with patients in some capacity. I just think that I want to, at some point, have more control over my schedule and have more control over kind of like what I do on the day-to-day.
That's the goal at the end of the day. I know what you're talking about. You got a client, they want a little bit of a time crunch where they're like, yo, I need this done.
Yeah.
And you like, look, I ain't in the mood.
I don't want to do it.
I'm tired. And then I'm the type, the worst type. You should hire me. My work is
I'm
fire.
dead. In case anybody was wondering.
My junk is fire. But I am the type, if you give me like a huge timeline to like get the project done, I will procrastinate until the last week.
You are the type.
And so if you give me a short timeline, don't do that, because I'm going to charge you more if it don't require it. But if you give me like, let's say, I need this within 3 days, I'm going to knock it out in there. But if you be like, yo, you got 2 weeks. I'm like, all right, say less. I got a week to like mess around. You feel what I'm saying? Do whatever I want to do. Listen, but you're about to move.
Yeah, I'm about to move to Chicago.
All right, friends. It's day 3. My realtor does not have anything to show me today, so I'm going to the city to see some rentals. Trying to keep my options open, see a little bit of what's out there on the market, the neighborhood, and also maybe I'll need a temporary place while I'm looking to buy. I need all y'all to step to the front. Where do y'all park in Chicago? Okay, so I can park here. I think I'm gonna do it.
So I'm not gonna lie, as y'all know, I've been trying to buy a condo, and now I'm looking at rentals because I'm starting to feel like, is it possible for me to buy a condo in my price range? Am I gonna find something that I like in a reasonable amount of time? And at this point, I think I just entered this day with the wrong mindset already, because I already didn't want to be looking at these rentals. And then the prices, like, this is $23.95, $2,400 in rent plus the utility. Like, I don't want to be doing that. So I was already in the wrong mindset. This place was in South Loop. It was a nice location, but I was just thoroughly unimpressed. Y'all let me know what y'all.
It's got a really nice view, but $23.95 for that, and that was not a bedroom. I mean, that was like a little closed off office space. Honestly, they could have opened that up and made the living space bigger and made it 1 bedroom. I cannot pay $2,300 US for that. So we're on to see this next place, which is furnished by a family friend. So hopefully they're gonna cut me a deal. We'll see.
I'm super excited. So my grandparents live in the suburbs. Chicago's a super vibrant city. Like, there's tons of Black people, like lots of things to do in the summertime. So I'm super excited to go there. And also I feel like, I've been in Atlanta, and like I've been through a lot since I've been here, and I'm just ready for a fresh start and to be.
What's a lot? Because they don't know what you're talking about. You just breezed over that.
Well, okay. I mean, I think relationship wise, I've been through a lot. Like, I moved here. Moved here, kind of got out of a relationship during the transition here because my partner wanted to not. It was a whole situation, but he wasn't prepared to make the transition with me, and I wasn't prepared to be long distance, and so we split ways. When I got here, I dated some people, but ended up reconnecting with somebody that I previously dated in college, got engaged, planned a 3-day wedding, spent tens of thousands of dollars.
More thousands. Okay.
Months
Gotcha.
before the wedding, canceled the wedding. He moved out, whole situation of transitions of lives. And so I just feel like I just been through a lot, and it was quite traumatizing. Like I'm really glossing over like the difficulty of which that whole situation was,
Right.
and even deciding to split. So
I'm not a therapist, so I will not try to diagnose that. I'm just gonna say what you said. You've been through a lot.
I have been through a lot, yeah.
And it's over. You know, we here. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You bigger and better things. You know what I'm saying? So, congratulations.
I'm dead. Thank you.
You got to.
But yes, I'm excited
Yeah.
to move because I'm excited to kind of shed all of that and be in a new physical space. I think that's something important. That's important for me personally when I'm trying to like heal and move on and grow. It's like changing my physical space.
You're going to be going into like an apartment. Is it like a sorority when y'all going to y'all residency? Like they got apartments for y'all. I'm not a doctor. Don't look at me like that.
I'm
this
actually
is why you're
stunned
here.
that you-
All right, listen.
Is that what they make it look like on TV?
Yeah.
Like they all just live together and
Are
shower
you
together?
living in a hospital? Yeah, 100%.
Term resident comes from the fact that they work so much that they were like residents of the hospital, and so they did sleep there. So that's, I guess, common to think that the residents
Okay.
live in the hospital.
Not too far off.
Because
Gotcha.
you do work a lot. Our duty hours are like 80 hours is the cap per week, and so like, and we're salaried, so like we can work up to 80 hours and not be paid extra. And actually, you can work more than 80 hours and not be paid extra. Actually, you can get in trouble for working more than 80 hours.
Why would you, if you're not getting paid extra, why are you, not saying that life saving isn't important, but if you
I mean,
ain't-
honestly, I'm still trying to wrap my head around it too. It doesn't make
'cause
sense.
where does sleep coming in?
So honestly, this system is meant to exploit us, and that's just flat out. Like, first of all, the barriers to get to a career in medicine are insurmountable. It costs a lot of money. There's a big knowledge gap. There's a hidden curriculum of things you need to know, and like you need to know people in order to figure that out. And it's super difficult to get there if you don't come from a place where people have been doctors. For example, even knowing how to pass the standardized test, or knowing where to apply, or that you should do certain things or meet with certain people before you apply, are things you wouldn't find online. So there's that. Then you get to medical school, it's $100,000 a year. Who can afford that? Like, so you end up with all these loans, and for a lot of people like me, Black and brown people who come from poor or low resource settings, like you got to help your family. You got other responsibilities outside of just being a student. And I think that's kind of where a lot of the gap comes from. Like, people think that, oh, we're all getting the same loans, it should even the playing field. But the things that I'm thinking about, I guarantee my classmates are not. Like, when things happen at home, like I'm a big part of that, whereas other people are just kind of left to focus on school. And I don't think we realize that that's a luxury. But that happens in med school. And then you get to residency, and this is crazy. So they give you all these years where you don't earn any money. And so you become a doctor, and you're like, oh, I'm about to get a salary. Baby, the salary is $70,000. Like, it's not a livable wage in this country. I don't know if what y'all talking about, eggs? I don't eat eggs, but they be saying it's $20. And
It's up there. It's not $20,
yeah.
but it's up there. Yeah, it's crazy.
So $70K is like not a ton of money, especially for somebody with a terminal degree that took them $400,000, $600,000 to make.
Yeah.
So I forgot where I was going with this, but anyways,
Why
why I work all the hours.
Livings.
Right.
We're talking about also living. Like,
So they basically exploit you. So they make you excited about little crumbs, and then they tell you like you're gonna work as much as we want you to work, and they build this system that works on residents where they take care of the whole hospital so that they can save money from paying physicians that need to get paid more, like attendings. So it's a gimmick, but
Is it a gimmick if the silver lining is in like 5 years you're gonna be making about $500,000 to $600,000?
I think you're the problem if you're saying that.
Okay, all right. I'm just saying.
Because making $500,000 with $500,000 in debt when you've been working 80 hours for 4 years consistently, and you have no like sense of self, your mental health is down in the drain, your relationships are trash. Like, what's the value of the $500K at that point?
You can pay off your debt in 1 year, but that's just
With $0.
perspective.
Come on now.
Okay, I mean realistically, 2 years paying it off. Then after that point, it's money in the bag. But again, y'all don't have time to enjoy it.
Yeah, because you
But
save 100% of your salary
When
right
I'm
now.
lacking social studies, I make up for in listening. You said you wasn't gonna let them work you into the ground.
I did say that.
You understand? So you ain't gonna be, after you pretty much come up, what, you gonna spend like 4 more years before you dip out into the world? Like what? That's not your last
What's
chapter.
my exit plan?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's not your last chapter. Is what
I
I'm
don't
pointing
know.
out.
I don't really have an exit plan right now. I just feel like I'll know when it's done. But I'm grateful that I chose a specialty where I can do lots of other things. I can be a proceduralist. I can do things for like camps. You see, your emergency doctors are like wherever you have a big event or a festival. So I'm excited about the opportunity to pivot if I need to. And I'm a person that I love a good pivot, baby. Like I'm gonna do it for the plot every time. So I'm excited about that. And if it does start to get to the point where I'm like, okay, I can't do this on a day-to-day, I'll do something else that still allows me to make money and use my degree until, you know, other things start making sense for me.
So again, what about this living situation? You never, like, I'm still over here like, you never specified. So you agree, like, all right, sometimes the residency thing does hint towards we sometimes live
the
in the
sorority
hospital.
thing.
My little call room and show y'all what I brought to me on call today. It is our, what hour is it? What is it? Oh, so it's like hour 8 of my 28-hour call. So 28 hours left to go. Just don't think it's humane or ethical. I'm gonna do it because this is what they pay me the little bucks to do. On my person, keep a scalpel for procedure, there's sterile gloves, and I have my pager somewhere. That's because people be nasty. My laptop, a charger. If you are taking 28 hours and you're not showering, brushing your teeth, you're nasty. Got a comb, I have my toothbrush and toothpaste, lotion because y'all know what me out here as she's your charger because you never know. With a pillowcase because sometimes there may not be linen, deodorant, all of my things I need to freshen up. So I have like my Tower 28 spray, toner, sunscreen. Like your girl, I'm gonna do a full skincare routine once it gets to about the 12-13 hour mark. Extra bra, extra underwear, brushing sides, extra pair of scrubs, my bouffant because sometimes the wig be sliding and I want to take this off. Cloth. So I'm not using these people's shower, but I will do a little, you know, hit the hot spots with some extra pins for my list and miscellaneous extra. I have lots of goodies. I have a salad in here. That was sushi that I ate earlier. Roasted salmon fillet, different snacks in here. I brought a little blanket because it be cold and I just want to be comfortable and like snuggled up when I have a moment. Do y'all want to see the call room? Okay, y'all, we back. So I left my patient in the bathroom. That's no when you're on call because nobody can call you. But this is the room. It's got like a little twin size bed. I put new linen on it and pillowcase when I got here. It's my blanket from home. Has a little chair, a little desk, all my things, a little TV, and that's it, y'all. So I'm gonna check back in later on during my call. So far, so good. Bye.
Are they helping you out with housing? Are they
No,
helping you like, all right, well, we recommend these spots?
not really.
So you have to, so you're going to a new spot.
You're an adult. Just like if you were to relocate for your job.
But it's a whole different, you're still like, you're a doctor. A resident is a doctor, but you're still a doctor in training.
Yes.
So you're still a student well, you're always a student of medicine, but you're still a student somewhat like you would be in, because you're, again,
Yeah, no, I get it. It is very weird because I'm in training, but it's also a job.
Yeah.
And it's very weird because I'm going to have benefits, I'm going to have expectations, milestones
saying.
like a job. At the same time, the program does have a responsibility to train me, and there are some educational components that they have to provide. So I think it does create this kind of weird situation of like, are you grown or are you still in school?
Well, you grown. You're
but I'm gonna live by myself. I'm gonna buy a house. Like a lot of people buy property, some people rent. But it's kind of like if you were to relocate for a job, there's not really much support. But some programs, like in New York, where it's super expensive to live and you obviously can't live off $80,000, they do have subsidized housing where the hospital will pay a portion so that people can actually afford to live close to where they work.
Well, that's nice to hear. At least New York, no comment. So.
They also work them hard over there, so.
Chicago.
Yeah.
Was that your first pick? Because I know when you're going through your match program, you are picking your top spots that you want to do your residency.
Just submitted my rank list. My top program is, so if I get my number 1, it'll be bye-bye Atlanta.
Cause she always getting prettier, getting finer. Bad girl, fire. Girl, you've been a heat like a lighter. And you're always getting prettier, getting finer.
Yeah, it's like a draft.
So, was that your top pick? Was that your second pick? What ended up happening? And if it was your top pick, what were like your second and third?
That was my number 1.
Okay. Well, there you go. Look at that.
Yeah, I would
talk about it.
I am not the type of person to get anything other than what they want. So that's just that on that.
But you also want to tell them like where you rank as like.
I mean, on the interview trail, lots of people read. So it's kind of subjective, but there's lots of components that go into like being, who gets chosen to get interviews.
You wanted to know where you fell in the top 5%?
I didn't care. It doesn't matter to me.
Would. Me, on the other hand, I'd be like, all right, I'm top 5, but am I number 1 in top 5? I feel like you number 1, number 2.
I mean, I think I've definitely done some things to put myself there.
Because it's the whole country, right?
Yeah, it's the whole country.
Yeah,
I mean, and
Atlanta,
even
like,
international people apply to the match outside of outside this country. Well, they're a part of the pool.
Yeah, to get lower than you. Yeah, you got 5. 100%. Like you crushed it.
I don't look at myself like that though. I don't feel like
So
I try not to be in competition with other people. I feel like it created a lot of like negative energy for me and anxiety, frankly. Like I'm just like I'm in a race against myself. I do what's true to me. Like I do the things that I'm passionate about and the things that make sense for Sydney, and I don't worry about too much else, to be honest.
I'm glad you're a doctor because we need more people like you. Because me, I'm doing it for shits and giggles.
See, you would have been trying to be like a plastic surgeon or 100%. Something like that.
Absolutely. Dr. Strange.
I was like, that's crazy, that lifestyle.
Bucks. Like, yeah.
I'm not with nobody waking me up in the middle of the night.
Plastic surgery. I mean, if I'm like the top 5% in plastic surgery too, I'm like, you can call me all you want. Did I want you on my schedule?
It don't necessarily always work like that. When you get a job, you make a contract about what your call schedule is going to be, and you're going to agree to some degree of call. It depends if you work like in an academic center or you work like private practice. You got your own practice, you make your own rules, but you also got to make your own money.
Okay, that makes sense. I mean, but what was number 2 and number 3?
Oh, number 2. Okay, so I'm trained at Emory for medical school. I love Emory. So Emory has a new research track, so I ranked them number 2. And number 3, George Washington in D.C. I was really kind of fascinated with the idea of living in D.C.
So the big question is, why did you go into medicine?
So I grew up in Detroit, and I grew up on the East Side, so period. Shout out to East Side. And I grew up with just me, my mom, my dad, and just like very humble beginnings. Like, we ain't had that much money, it was just like I didn't feel like we were poor, but I mean, we wasn't rich, and we didn't live in a big house, whatever. But my dad, he always had an interest in real estate, and I never got a chance to. My dad is deceased, so I never got a chance to ask him like where that came from or whatever. But he wanted to sell real estate, so he built his real estate business kind of at our kitchen table, and that was that. Eventually, like we were able to move out to the suburbs, and I'm not gonna lie, we had a pretty good life. I grew up from that point, like a good amount of privilege, I would say. Like we had nice things. My dad owned a business. He would pay me to be the receptionist and dish out a lot of money. And I'm making this point just to kind of paint the picture of like the juxtaposition of how my life shifted. And I remember like when we in middle school, like my dad would give me like so much money for lunch every day, and I would have just like hundreds of dollars that week from collecting money from not spending my lunch money. It was crazy. But anyways, when I got to high school, some things started to shift. Like towards the end of high school, I started to realize that my dad would just like disappear sometimes, or he would not be there, or he was supposed to, he was just different. Like he was a very present father. He would be at all the games. He would be like an enthusiast. And then he just kind of became absent. And there would be times where we would know my mom would say he was going on a quick trip really quick, or he going on an emergency business trip. And it was just very unlike him. But then like, one day I was in a car with my ex-boyfriend and my goddaughter at the time, and she was crying, and he like reached over to kind of like scold her and tell her like, hey, stop, whatever. And he noticed that there was like a bag on the ground, like, them little baggies that they put drugs in. And he was like, pull over the car. And he kind of brought to my attention essentially that there was like a drug baggie in the car. And I wasn't hip because I was like a suburban girl at this point. I was very accustomed to my life. I didn't hang with people that did drugs. I didn't think anybody in my house did drugs. And from that point, like, I feel like that's the moment where I remember like my life changed. Like everything was just different after that point, because I had this new perspective of like why my dad was acting the way he was. And I found out after talking to like his friend and people in his life that he had a crack cocaine addiction for the majority, or like dang near the entirety of my life. And from that point on, I kind of saw him through a different lens. Like the times where he would cry, the times where he would break down, the times where he would escape, I kind of realized that he had mental health issues that were not diagnosed and were not being treated. And after that, kind of everything went downhill. We lost everything within a year. I ended up having to help, take care of my sister and support her emotionally, physically, all the ways. And it was just really hard. But from that situation, I realized that there's a lot of people, Black people out here that are dealing with mental health struggles that are not able to get the treatment that they need or that they want, because there are frankly not a lot of Black doctors that look like us and that understand the pressures that we're under. Like, my dad is a Black man. He's the only person who has made any money in his family, his situation. He's trying to take care of the whole hood, you know, and like, he's going to see doctors and practitioners who are not understanding why you just don't take the pressure off. But for us, that's a whole different, you know, world and a whole different ball game, a whole different pressure and kind of expectation that they weren't getting. So I just realized like how much like having a Black doctor who really was invested in him and invested in his journey of like taking care of his mind and also getting off drugs would have really like saved his life. So I remember one day I saw him like outside of our home, and we had to move all of our stuff out immediately because the house was getting foreclosed on. And my dad was just like out, and we had a sunroom at the time, and he was out in the sunroom and he was just breaking down and he was crying because his family was just like, you know, like it felt like our lives were over at that point. And he was just like crying out for help. And I think that was like the moment where I just was like, yeah, I got to do something about this, because there's Black people that's really struggling, and like he tried to get help and like he couldn't find it. So that's how I came to medicine. I thought I was going to be a psychiatrist, and things changed.
I mean, I feel like at that point, God like pointing out your true calling, because we can be good at several things, but you got that one thing that you just golden at, or you don't even realize you're that good at it, and they're like, hey, it starts to shine, or it starts to like show an avenue. Sometimes, I mean, your situation was unfortunate how you know, realize, okay, I'm gonna go down this path, but I feel like you are where you're supposed to be.
Yeah, and I think like we all need something to give us our why. Like, right, you need a reason to get up in the morning and do the things you do. Like, life is hard. It's gonna throw curveballs, and like, you need something to lean on when shit gets tough. And I feel like that gave me a why. Like, before that, I was pursuing a career in law because I grew up around all these affluent people. Their parents were doctors, lawyers, business owners. And I thought, why the hell I can't do that too? And my parents said, why can't you do that too? And so I was being a lawyer, but just purely off the point of like, I can do it. Like, nobody's going to tell me I can't. And I'm going to create, you know, in status and wealth. Like, that was the thing. And so coming onto a journey where I have something to fall back on, and like, there's actually like a reason that is in my heart that will never leave me. I think I wouldn't have made it this far without that, for real. Yeah. So I'm grateful.
And you're going to be that doctor, you know, the same doctor that was there for your dad. You're going to be that for somebody. And then you might inspire a couple of doctors out here just off of that.
I mean, we'll see. But I definitely will be that person.
I'm speaking into existence for you.
That more people gonna be doctors?
More people off the strength of you. Yeah.
I mean, y'all should call me first though. Tread carefully, because this is expensive and it's taxing, and like, I do not recommend for everybody. I'm not gonna lie, like,
taxing. I don't care.
Taxing, physically, mentally, emotionally, financially.
Of course, it's gonna be taxing. Tax them.
Oh,
100%.
When they ask me, I'm dead. I don't know about
run
that.
the bill up. It's nothing wrong with it. It's worth it. Y'all need to go ahead and check her out. I'm putting social medias in the link and above her, so y'all can go ahead, you know. If y'all got anything y'all trying to do brand-wise, you like, you know what, maybe I need just somebody to give me that extra oomph so I can, like, go on social media and, like, really do my passion, hit her up. She gonna
make sure you have a budget.
Pay her on time. I know one of the clients. I'm not going to say no names. Pay her on time. All right? Don't, yeah.
I'm very type A when it comes to my business.
Absolutely.
So just be got your ducks in a row and be ready to work.
There you go. All right. Peace.